Good morning. It is January 3rd, and it's our first Wednesday of, what is it, 5 Wednesdays we get to meet together in January 2024 for the sit commit. Happy New Year. Big, warm welcome to this course that we're running for the rest of the month. Gathered here live, there are mostly folks that meditate with me regularly from all across the country and including Canada, and a couple of new people, including a local friend through my theater world here in Fort Worth. Um, it's really, really nice to see all of you. Some of the folks here have known me a really long time, and some of the folks less so. Some of these folks have done the sit commit or something similar to it with me since when did we start this? Like 2017 or 2018, I think. We started doing these kind of January, you know, I've called them different things. For a while, we called them a meditation challenge. Something about that felt really aggressive to me. Um, and and for me, it's I mean, yeah, there's a challenge to it. I'm challenging everyone to come and join every day, but it's it's also the energy of it is pretty sweet and simple and gentle, especially at the beginning actually. So whatever we call it, this is a little yearly ritual that several of us here have been doing for a while. And I'm so glad to see old friends and new friends. Also note that there are currently about 20 other people in the course, I think, something like that. We'll see how many are really super committed because some people get it for free as part of their subscription, and we may not see them a lot, which is totally fine. But I know there will be some other really active members who will not be joining us for a lot of these live sessions, either because where they are in the world makes the timing off, or just where they are in their lives makes the timing off. And some of those people are going to be actually hosting silent sessions as a way to connect. Some of them you just might see make a comment here or there, but I do just always like to start off by noting that the most powerful thing here are these practices that we're doing, but also the community that comes and gathers to do it with us. Just knowing that there are other human beings who have similar challenges and struggles and goals, and to have them, even if virtually, like sitting with us, um, makes a really huge difference. For me, even as the leader of this, I will be completely honest, um, even being the leader of this, having there be a meditation every single day and knowing that my pals are there helps me show up and get more consistent in my practice. This is a reboot for me as well. Um, and so all of us, wherever we are in our journey, can benefit from this. I know that in the last few years, my practice has become less consistent. My life has been a little bit more tumultuous, and And I know that my practices have served me super duper well through a really challenging period of my life where a lot of unexpected things happened and I moved around a lot and wasn't very rooted or settled. And my practice has served me really well through that. My community has served me well through it. And yet, just being able to return every single day in a really steady way, I can already feel is going to be really beneficial to me. I have been practicing and teaching meditation for a while now. Um, I started teaching meditation in really early 2011. I've had a daily practice since 2010, and I've studied lots of different traditions, as most of you guys know. And um, the overall course outline, as well as the way that I'm going to guide these meditations, is really based on a template that I created several years ago that I call the ABCs. And we just practiced together the first two steps of that: arrive and breathe. This template is based on me studying all this different stuff and being like, what's the right practice? What's the key? And what I really found was, oh, look, and all the practices that are really effective all around the world, here are the essence. Here's the essence. And then I mm, kind of fit it into something that was easy to memorize. It's alphabetical. And we're going to be traveling through those ABCs in some ways every time we meditate, but we'll be focusing on different steps of this along the way. So, the beginning, we are focusing on arrive. That means, how do you get yourself physically to just show up and breathe? Once you are sitting, how do you start to get comfortable in your own body? How do you start to arrive into the moment and the place that you're actually in? Of course, the mind, which we'll end up talking about a lot in future sessions, um, the mind has its habits and it has its pathways. And for most of us, we have to rebuild the pathway back to just being in the body and the breath. And luckily, doing this every single day for this month is your best friend with that. And then it'll become a habit like anything else, just the same way you get up and you brush your teeth in the morning, probably without having to like gear yourself up for it or, procrastinate. Hopefully you'll get up in the morning and you will, well, you could brush your teeth first and do whatever ablutions you need. And then you will start to naturally, without a lot of effort, come to your practice. I I already added into the chat box something that you're welcome to follow along with, and I'll go ahead and screen share it. But there's actually two things in there. One is the actual post in Nowhere Village that I added last night that details your basically your homework for the next few days. Um, and the next one is the same thing basically in a Google Doc version for anybody who wants to print it out, like I have, um, or if you want to like save it as a document on your computer. It's basically just the same thing two ways. Um, and yeah, then I'm going to screen share it now, and we're just going to basically talk through what's coming up, what you, yeah, what the work is. Again, the name of the game right now is simple. We are going for consistency, showing up every day in some way. Once we show up, anything can happen. If we don't show up, nothing can happen. Does that make sense? And so the reason why we hang out at Arrival for a little bit, uh, and not too long. We're already gonna be going into some breath meditations in the next couple of days that I'll be posting. um, oh no, sorry, Pamela can't hear me, but she's gonna check her phone and hopefully come back and be with us. If anyone else can't hear me, and thank you, that's a good note. If you ever having technical difficulties, we'll try to work out the sound when we first get here. Okay, great. Okay, great. It's fixed. Thanks, everybody. No, it's okay. No, I was about to say, I'm actually glad this happened because I want to say that when you're on live, we try to fix it at the beginning, but if you're having an issue, go ahead and let me know and we'll try to troubleshoot it, okay? Um, yeah, okay. We're all good now. But anyway, I was just saying that, yeah, The first step is all about getting into the habit of just showing up, getting into this new morning routine. The science says if you do something every day for 21 days, by the 22nd day, that neural pathway is formed. You are going to naturally want to do that thing. And it's okay if you skip a day. Don't just like throw everything out and quit and feel bad about yourself. Come back the next day. It's fine. But I really do encourage you to do your best, especially in these first couple weeks, to make consistency your main goal. And it's awesome. All of you guys that are live here, great. Everyone who's watching the video, hi, yay, you showed up too. Um, there will be days when it's harder. And if it's harder and I'm not here to support you and you can't, um, you just can't pull it off, what I want you to do is just try to sit for 1 minute. That's it. But what you're doing is getting in the habit of showing up. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and screen share really quick so that you have the visual going along and you might have it in front of you. However, you're going to do it. I'll go ahead and share the screen share with the Google Doc up because I'm going to put it. Um, yeah, so this is it. I'm like wanting to fiddle with my screen, but don't worry about that too much. And I'm gonna make myself smaller. So this is the Google Doc version. You're also welcome, of course, to look at the one that's uh, in the course material. Same thing, but that's it. Arrival practice. So for every week, um, you'll get your breath one a little sooner than a week, but basically just about every week, I'll be giving you guys one of these for every step of the path. I'll be giving you one of these, a practice and then some inquiry. I'll talk about the inquiry in a moment. The practice will tell you what are the things that I can do when I show up to my meditation practice. And you see here that like the main thing that I want you to do in these first few days is literally just show up to your space. But here are some other things that are really, really beneficial at this stage. And these are all different things that you can do depending on what calls to you, where you are, what you need. Organizing or personalizing your home practice space. Um, I recommend if this, especially if you don't have a practice or a space that you usually use, dedicate a little time, and you don't have to do it today. Maybe over the weekend you give yourself a couple hours in the middle of the afternoon or whatever to focus on this. But make your space clean and bright. You see, I've got a couple little flowers here in my space. This helps me want to come here. You can't see my altar, but it's actually behind me here. You can't see the things that are on it because of the angle, and that's also fine because it's kind of personal to me anyway. But make yourself a little altar, and that doesn't have to be complicated. I live in a really small space right now, so um, I've had more grandiose practice spaces, as some of you have seen, and you can look at old videos of me in big spaces. But right now, it's really humble and sweet, and it has to be a little multi-purpose sometimes. It's on my bookshelf, my altar. It is what it is. Just but find a space and make it your little dedicated space. Getting your meditation seat and posture just right. And this is something that I want to offer. Um, Really, it's not a huge group. I can spend a little personal time with everybody here in various ways, mostly through like making comments and stuff. Sometimes I'll make a little video in response to your question or comment. Um, but the point is, I am here if you need help troubleshooting your meditation posture or anything else. Um, because this is a group of people that's worked with me a long time and most people kind of figured out their posture, I'm not going to cover it specifically in this material unless somebody gives me a question, in which case I will probably post a special video about postures. Oh, I have some old videos about postures I might also just post. Anyway, the point being, um, play around with the height of your meditation seat. I will just go ahead and can give you guys just a little glimpse of, I sit like this because I have very open hips and I can do this kind of posture. But some people are sitting more like this or sitting up on their knees. I don't have the room to demonstrate all of that. I am up on a cushion, but some people like to sit up on blankets or blocks and again, you might by the end of the month have invested in some new gear or whatever, but I've meditated in all kinds of places with all kinds of random stuff that I found around, towels and hotel rooms, etc. And you don't need to spend money necessarily. So just play around with your posture, let it be comfortable, and reach out to me if you have questions. Some of the time that you can be spending is kind of stretching or warming up your body in some way. Um, I personally meditate and then do a physical yoga practice. That's my routine. But especially at the beginning, as you're getting comfortable with this, it might behoove you to sit and, just take a couple simple stretches for yourself. Maybe you're going to pair this program with a yoga program or something like that. I am a yoga teacher, but I've chosen to really focus on meditation right now. And so again, I can help you with that, but it's not going to be like the main focus of the content right now. So play around with it for yourself. And yeah, obviously taking in the latest sit commit content. So that means going to our practice space or our 2024 sit commit space in nowherevillage.org and catching up on the content. Now, here we are, it's Wednesday morning. I am giving you the content live if you're here. Um, but a lot of people, of course, are going to be doing at least some of the sessions afterwards. Um, I'm only going to be live with you guys on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And the rest of the time, the hosts are community members. And they're not going to talk to you. I mean, they might at the end say bye or something, but, or might say, can you hear me at the beginning? But otherwise, their job is going to be to sound a singing bowl at the beginning and the end of 20 minutes. That's it. That's what they're going to do. And to be a presence, to be the leader of arrival and showing up. And they're going to be doing their own practice. And they're going to be doing any number of these things. They're probably just going to be sitting quietly, but while you're there and you're muted and your screen is off, you could be going into the Nowhere Village space and listening to an audio of me. I'll be posting a new meditation every day, even when we're not live together. And so there'll always be something new there for you to explore. Um, yeah. Reflecting on the inquiry prompts. Talk about that in a sec. Replaying your favorite meditation recording. Yeah, so meaning like rather than catching up on content, if there's like one that you love, do that one. All of this is just here for you to use, and just use the stuff that works. Walking yourself through the ABCs. Now I leave the ABCs here as a template, and you could click on that, and you could not on the screen share, but in the one that I shared with you or in the content online, you can look at that ABCs meditation template and you can walk yourself through it. I'll talk us through it to close this up because that's also how as we like look ahead to what's coming up. But don't worry about that too much now. You will be getting very familiar with that template as we go. Familiarizing yourself with the digital practice space, meaning like poking around Nowhere Village, being able to find stuff. Introductions, we're going to do those at the end here, just little short ones. And I invite everyone who's watching the video, but not here with us live, to add an introduction this week as well. And then finally, posting about your reflections, your questions, your insights, your celebrations, your challenges in the Nowhere Village space. You can make comments on every single post. You can also create your own little posts. And then I very much encourage you to do that. So obviously there's like a long list of things that you can do when you show up to your practice. And the most important part is just the showing up. Okay. You know what? I'm going to stop the show for just a second so I can see the chat. And keep yourself muted for now, but if you have a question about any of those practices, I'm going to just give us a sec to sit with that before I plow on to inquiry. And then I also want to just introduce our why we do inquiry and what that is. So just we'll take a breath, and if you have a question, you're typing it in, great. Otherwise, you could just take this moment to kind of think about, tomorrow morning, um, Thursday morning. Let's see, Holly is going to be hosting at 6:30. 6:30 my time, Central. A lot of these folks are on the East Coast, so 7:30 a.m. for them. Um, we have a silent session most days of the week at that time. Weekends are a little different. But in Nowhere Village, you can look at that event space. Oh, okay, I'm going to show you this actually really quick because I think it's cool. Um, so I'm going to share my screen again now. And we're going to look at Nowhere Village. So the best way to look at the events coming up, so you see where I am. I'm on the sit commit. You get there from this little sidebar. And then you go to events. And this is the part that I'm excited about, is so you can see them listed here. So you'll see what the next thing is. Oh, and there's a silent session with Lee a little later today. I imagine you guys, since you're here, probably won't go to that, but she's like hosting a slightly later morning Wednesday thing, which we just added. Oh, and there's a late night sit on Sunday evenings with Michael, who's on the West Coast. So you can sit with him after your kids go to bed. That's what he's doing. Um, though I think that's actually supposed to be 8 p.m. his time, 5 p.m. Or anyway, we'll make sure that's right by Sunday. But this is what I like. This is cool. We now have a little calendar. This is just like a new thing here. So you've also got it as a calendar view. But you can see that every Wednesday and Saturday you'll see this word guided at the beginning. That means I'm there and I'm going to be live guiding you. Everything else um is going to be hosted by our wonderful community members. These are all people who've been meditating with me for a long time and are just wonderful presences. So so grateful for them and their hosting, and I'll be there. I'll sit with you, but that means I get to just show up and be a participant, which is really nice for me. I don't see any questions, and hopefully you don't have any questions about what I just covered, like finding the events and how that's all working. Also, yeah, if any of you feel an urge to host an event, you could talk to me. If we add it in the next couple days, I'd be down to add another one. I think we're pretty good though. We've got something going on every day of the week, which is awesome. Okay, inquiry. I just want to say a couple words about inquiry, and then I'll share the inquiry practices we're about to do. I'll talk a little bit about what's coming up, and that's going to be our morning. In every tradition that I've studied, inquiry, some kind of questioning, uh, studying, or philosophizing is an essential partner to the meditation practice. Meditation meditation is arriving into our inner world. And this is a world that is difficult to describe, actually. It's difficult to conceptualize. It's invisible in a way, right? And getting to know this inner world is one of the most valuable things I think that humans can do, if maybe the most valuable, maybe the most valuable thing we can do, because then it allows us to understand ourselves and start to, well, move around the world with intentionality. If we don't understand really what's going on in that inner world, then we find ourselves just sort of at the mercy of this outer world. And so a meditation practice is a commitment to getting to know ourselves. And it brings us into areas that are hard to describe. They're hard to conceptualize. And this is why, this is the realm of philosophers and mystics, the realm of the invisible but really important spaces that we want to come to understand, and yet we have this great challenge of not being able to see them. I don't know, I'm trying to find an object I can pick up around here. It's like me describing this is gonna be a different kind of process, or like showing it to you. I can show it to you. I can, this is what I bang this with. It's made of wood, it's whatever. There's like all kinds of stuff we can do with this because it's out here in this solid way. What about talking about the feelings that I have inside, the sensations I have inside, my thoughts? That's a little tougher, right? And this is why there's always a kind of philosophical aspect that goes along with meditation practice. I call it inquiry, um, because I have some teachers that call it inquiry. You can call it whatever you like. Um, um, but the point is, what it is investigating for ourselves what we're doing, what we're encountering. And it is a step that happens outside of meditation, though you'll see in some of my guided meditations, I start to open up inquiry. I'll start to kind of ask some questions. I will make space within your meditation to have some insights about this stuff. But as we come to discuss what is meditation a little bit more and what is the meditative state, you'll find that you don't want to be kind of too busy with inquiry. It'll get in the way actually of the meditative state, which is a state of sort of openness and availability. Inquiry is something that I like to do right after I meditate. I like to do it through journaling. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it. Um, I think it's also important to, I call this contemplation, but just to kind of walk around with certain questions. To we are committing, when we commit to be meditators, we're also committing to be investigators of our own lives, of this inner world. And you're going to learn so much about the outer world and other people because you're going to get to know this inner space, which only you can know. And then it's going to be applicable to everything. But we're going to be continuing to turn our attention inward. We're going to be continuing to investigate our own lives, ask ourselves these questions. And the discussion of others, myself, but comments from other people will end up being inspiring and help you have insights. But ultimately, the real aha moments are always going to come from your own investigation. They're going to come from inside. And those are the moments that change us the most. Somebody else might say something that's going to inspire us and take us a little bit of the way, but those aha moments, those revelatory moments that come through real inquiry, I tell you, that's the stuff that will stick with you for a long time. That's what's going to make those allow you to make those shifts into a new chapter. So here is our arrival inquiry. So same doc that I shared before. It's just if you scroll down, you'll see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions for arrive. There'll be, well, I'll give you guys another one for breathe before Saturday for you guys to check out, and we'll go over that on Saturday. Um, but yeah, so arrival inquiry at the top, I kind of tell you how to do it. Look over these prompts. Choose one that feels most relevant to explore. You don't have to start with number one and like go through all of them. This isn't the SATs, so we're a little more creative and playful here. So I want you to kind of read them all and then choose the one that's most relevant to explore. You can journal or make some art about it, walk around, kind of asking yourself these questions, have discussions with friends. I don't know, any old way that you want to start to approach it. And then once you've chosen one, you can dive deep into that one, or you can kind of, I don't know, journal about it or write about it for 2 minutes and go to another one. Explore, explore for yourself. But here's the questions about arrival. What does it mean to arrive and be fully present here and now? What is the value of this step? If we don't value what we're doing here, you guys aren't going to make it very far, right? If you don't have a sense that this is important. And again, like I said, all these words that I'm using are describing things that are philosophical. So if you don't understand any word that I'm using, I try to explain it, and it might be different than the way another teacher has used a word. But if you don't understand something, then it's hard to value it. So do always ask me if you need help understanding any of these terms. Um, Reflect on a time in your life when you fully arrived and felt present. What does it feel like? What are the circumstances around it? The next one's really about exploring when it was difficult to arrive. Like, yeah, I know for myself, reflecting on my own personal experiences is a really valuable way for me to go, oh, remember that time in your life when you weren't showing up for your practices very well? What was going on then? Oh, well, this was going on, this was going on. That was making it more challenging, right? So we're learning, we're exploring, discovering. Okay, what helps you when it's time to arrive? Do you have allies in your corner that you can call on? Um, Touchstones. This is what our word here is for the words or images or gestures that we call to mind. We'll learn more about those soon. But basically, like if you have a mantra, just arrive and breathe has become a mantra for me. In the meditation today, I said, connecting to my lower body helps me arrive often. Like breathing in and out of my feet or my pelvic floor. Try that right now. Okay, so you're going to be discovering along the way what are your friends? What are your little things that you can grab onto when you need to arrive? What's the first thing in your awareness when you arrive to your meditation seat? That's always really interesting. Are there parts of you that arrive easily? Are there parts which are difficult? And then when you aren't able to arrive, where do you go? Meaning, where are you habitually going when you're not consciously doing meditation, arriving and breathing? Okay, I'm going to stop the share. And I'm going to respond to that comment in just a moment. That's a great one. Um, so that's that's this guy that I just shared with you on my screen. Let me know if you have any questions about that, any of that. Yeah. Paula makes a comment here. I've noticed that when I need it the most is when it becomes most challenging to arrive. That is a really, really valuable insight. And Paula, I hope that over the next couple of days you can work with this and discover for yourself what are your best friends in those moments. Again, I've already given you a couple of mine. That breathing in and out of my feet is huge for me. Um, but yeah, explore it, experiment with it, and let us know in comments coming up uh, how it goes and what works for you, because what you discover might work for somebody else around here as well. So that sharing is important. Um, I'm going to wrap up for today. I never want these sessions to go more than an hour. Um, and I always surprise myself by how much I have to share. I thought that I might get you guys on for introductions, but we don't really have time to get us out of here on time and do that. So um, I will make a little space for everyone just to kind of introduce themselves. Also, you can I'll show you I'll share the screen one more time. Here here in our space. Hold on, sit commit. Um, oh dang it. What did I just do? Okay, here we go. And members. So between table of contents and events are members. So you can go and check out people if you haven't added a photo. I think everybody here has. That's a nice thing to do. So you can see members here. I will be yeah, I'll make a little post that you guys will get. You guys will get a little notification. It says introductions, and you can put a little introduction in there. Um, and uh, and I'm looking at you. The most important thing is what you've already done. You did it. You showed up. You showed up for this first morning, um, this first live session. You're showing up for your practice. We are going to be now looking forward. We're going to be focusing on breath. I'll be dropping some breath meditations in. We'll talk about that more a little on Saturday. The next Wednesday, we are going to focus on connecting to care. Now, that's when we really start to ask that question, why am I here? What is this journey about? Why do I want to meditate? And we're not going to get there quite yet, because first I want us to learn how to show up every day. And then we're going to go, okay, I'm showing up every day. Why? What is this for? And really getting into the heart of what brings you here. Then that following Saturday, I'm gonna be really encouraging people to kind of make some kind of comment or ask a question, some or share a reflection sometime before Saturday mornings. And then Saturday mornings, um, especially starting on the 13th, because I'll be talking a bit about breath. I'll give a little talk on the 6th. But then going forward, Saturday mornings is more like our time from my time to respond to your questions about the Wednesday content and to go deeper into it in whatever ways it seems like this group needs it based on how you guys have communicated to me. Um, and and then we dive into step D, direct your attention. Really talking about that obstacle of the mind. Our attention it's like a muscle, and we're going to learn how to grow our capacity for attention, how to direct it into the places that we need. Most importantly, how do I pull my attention away from those places in my mind that are habitual but are not serving me or my goals? When I connect to care, directing my attention in that space is directing me away from what I care about and what I value and what's important. So that's step D. And then we're going to talk about exist as awareness or experience emptiness. That's step E. And that's really, in most traditions, considered sort of the goal of meditation is to have the experience of a meditative state, that state of availability and flow. It's a kind of blissful state. We'll talk about it more, and we're going to demystify it because it's also a natural state that is just naturally occurring, and you've had it before, and I'll help you prove that to yourself. But then I'll also help you, realize there are also other kind of layers and available experiences of emptiness or pure awareness. And yeah, we'll kind of demystify that and talk about how we can access it through meditation. At the end of the month, we kind of all together cover the last stages of meditation to finish and to go forth. And of course, at the end of every meditation session, we mark our finishing. Many of us here are bowing to the singing bowl, or bowing to the meditation practice, bowing to ourselves, bowing to our teachers and our sources. But at the end of every session, every individual session, it's important to mark that ending. And at the end of this month, we'll mark that ending with a closing circle and group sharing and a little ritual. So that is us. You'll see me at the end of the talks as well, give you a little bow. And anybody who is on live, let me see, I don't know if this is going to record. Um, those that are still with us, if you want to um, put on your video in this last moment, you are welcome to do that and just kind of give a little wave. You're also welcome to do that at the end of the silent sessions. And again, I'm going to make some time for you guys to also unmute yourselves for us to discuss. Didn't make time for that this morning, but if you do want to just give us a little wave, you can. And if you don't, you don't have to. Um, First rule about arriving is you show up just as you are. We're getting a wave from Paula on the chat box. Most people want to stay quiet today. That's totally fine. Um, I am so glad you're here. And for all of you that are watching, I'm really glad that you are here. And again, congratulations on arriving today. Much love, everybody. I'm going to be posting all of this content this morning. And so you'll get little dings. You can change your notification settings if it's too much, but you'll get little dings every time that I post a little new content. And I hope to be hearing from you. Definitely share something, even if it's just personally with me. You can also just DM me if you don't want to share with the group, but would love to hear from everybody by Saturday morning so that I can address what's going on with our group on Saturday morning and include your influence there. Candace says, I'm here. Nobody needs to see the early AM me, and that's fine. That's totally fine. I love the early AM you, just where you are. Okay, that's it. Thanks, everybody.